Good morning.
Ah, hello, my friend. All right?
Yeah, fine.
Ready?
Yeah?
Yeah. Do you want to take a look?
Yeah, sure.
This way. I even put in something for those leaks.
Good idea.
Hey, there you are.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Good. Well, yes, I did my best to satisfy you. Okay?
Fine, yes.
Is everything all right?
Oh, yes. Good.
Oh.
Yeah. This is for you.
Thanks.
Well, thanks.
Bye. Very much. A good day's work. Good. The key. Hey, young man, you've forgotten the key.
I don't need the key. You can keep it. I'm not gonna need it.
Musa, why are you walking like that? You got a hernia?
No, he hasn't. I bet he just walked into a table.
No, don't
Hi,
say
you
that.
guys. How are things?
Okay.
Aziz, thank you very much. You gave me excellent advice.
You being serious?
Your anti-AIDS protection is fantastic, brothers. You said protection lies in 3 words.
Yes.
The iron underpants.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Just wait. Look, iron underpants.
You're crazy. What are you playing at?
With these, there's no chance of me giving in to temptation. I'll be as good as gold. It's great, huh?
Oh, this is unbelievable. It's a figure of speech. My iron underpants are here, not there. Look, my friend, to guard against AIDS, you've got to have an iron will, not iron underpants. It happens in your head. I can't believe you did this.
Underpants made of iron.
You got to be joking.
Listen, this here isn't the solution.
No, it's mind over matter.
Iron wheel, man.
I don't think you can imagine an adult sitting in an office somewhere, in an ad agency somewhere, thinking up that idea. It just had to come from the experience of young people. And it really is a huge hit particularly among young men across Africa. We know that this term, iron underpants, has entered youth culture in the local dialect in several places. As a way, just, the kids saying to each other, okay, you're going out for a night on the town, but don't forget those iron underpants. Or a husband is going to be away for a couple of weeks. Well, don't forget your iron underpants. It facilitates that dialogue. It's a way of reframing this whole concept of abstinence or even of fidelity and making it something that people can actually communicate around. It's less monolithic and just facilitates that communication. So a fantastic idea by Malik Jobyad, aged 18 actually, from Senegal. And one of the things that it does do, sure. Oh, I seem to have moved us forward. Oh. So one of the things that, as you can imagine, if this is shown in a small group, if iron underpants is shown in a small group, it gives you the opportunity to really get people to think about, well, what does it mean to be a real man? What does it mean to have strength of will? What does mind over matter really mean? And what are the current understandings of what masculinity is, and how can they be harmful to our health? Maybe it's time to rethink those. Those are the kinds of questions that you can address in small groups with doubtless a lot of humor following that film. This is a quote from a colleague in Mozambique, and she's talking about Caddy, Nancy, who's a very strong woman in one film, and Caddy, who is the young woman who demands condoms in the shop. And she says, Nancy and Caddy inspire our women to contemplate what they want out of relationships. But the men in our group also appreciate these strong women. As one male seminar participant recently noted, I want a woman like that because then I'll know when she says yes, she really means it. So this way of really getting people to critically question the social norms that they are absorbing from their environment and to think about the kind of cultural change that needs to take place if people's health is going to be protected. Couple of other quotes that I wanted to share with you, a couple more voices, if you like. First one from a young commercial sex worker in Burkina Faso. Far too often we're considered to be risk groups by practically everybody involved in HIV/AIDS. For us, taking part in this contest is a way to tell all of them that we are every bit as aware of AIDS as they are, and just as committed to doing something about it. And we owe it to ourselves to protect ourselves. So again, a very different understanding. You know, it really challenges our stereotypes of commercial sex work. And again, a person living with HIV in Burkina Faso. Scenarios from Africa is reaching every corner of the continent, changing attitudes towards those of us who live with the virus. And we're at the heart of it all, and they really are. You can't imagine what that means to us. It makes us feel so useful, so strong. So, you know, this concept of capacity, I just wanted to touch on what this means for the Scenarios from Africa process. Certainly it is about empowering individuals, like the commercial sex workers, like the people living with HIV, but it's also about knitting them into the resources within their own community and building up the community-level infrastructure that can allow those community-based organizations to best serve those people. So through the contest, people get to know the kind of resources that are available to them within their communities. They get to know where the testing centers are, where the resource centers are, who they can talk to about their issues. In addition, it forges links between these different organizations, and as I put it here, links small groups into broader networks of influence. So you may be a community-based organization in rural Senegal or rural Kenya, but through this process you get linked into some of the larger organizations who may be operating on a national level in the country, and that's tremendously valuable. It lends new and lesser-known organizations visibility and credibility. There's one lovely quote from an organization in, I think, Burkina Faso. The Scenarios process gives our organization a kind of aura. Because you have that association with the mass media, it really does increase the credibility of those organizations. It allows young people, as I said, to identify, value, and use local resources and services. And it empowers young people and organizations by providing them with the capital, a symbolic capital within their communities, the respect within their communities that they are having their voices heard. It identifies them as vectors of social change, thereby reinforcing their civic engagement and building collective efficacy. So empowerment and capacity is really about citizenship at the end of the day. It's about letting people recognize that they do have a role in bringing about social change. One of the films is about a young woman whose teacher lives with HIV and whose teacher does not have access to antiretrovirals. And the teacher in her classes in the past has encouraged that young woman to take action if there are things that she doesn't like. So this young woman takes the initiative and writes a letter to the president, explaining that she isn't satisfied with the fact that her teacher doesn't have access to antiretrovirals. And in the film, the president replies and invites her to come and give a press conference with him. So, and you know, doesn't make a very firm commitment, but indicates that they will continue to work with their international partners and players to try and increase access to antiretrovirals in the country. It's simply an example of active civic participation that we need to encourage young people to adopt. In this country as well as in Africa, of course. And we know that one girl who watched that film and other Scenarios films during the contest was very moved by the situation of AIDS orphans. So she wrote a letter to the president of her republic, asking that more be done on behalf of orphans and vulnerable children. That's exactly the kind of attitude that we want to inspire through this process. I wanted to share with you, before I wrap up, some story starters for the 2008 contest, the contest that's running right now. And this will give you an idea of some of the ideas. We do provide in every contest a list of story starters, but young people are not obliged to stick to them. And the vast majority of young people write about the subject of their choice. But these are a few, just to give you an idea. As you know, maybe the World Cup will be held in South Africa in 2010, so it's a fantastic opportunity to reach audiences with HIV-related messages. So we do have some dialogue going with FIFA right now. Whether or not this will actually come to pass remains to be seen. But we invite young people in this contest to write a story for a very short, fast-moving film that could theoretically be shown in halftime during those matches. The second one, I talked a little bit about cognitive rehearsal and the power of the imagination. This one is really trying to draw on that, encouraging young people